Hi, guys. We are back with the Nameless Packers pod, doing it all again. Another week of football in the books. We're going to be talking about around the NFL, some stuff that happened. Some of it, again, not good, but some of it good. I think your shirt maybe says it all at this point. But yeah, we'll cover that. Talk about the Packers' loss 24-25 against the Atlanta Falcons. But the home opener on the way. We'll go around the NFC North a little bit and then catch up with everything news and notes. I'm your host, Brady Augustine, joined as always with the lovely Erin Knapp. How are you doing, Erin?
I got the week 2 blues, Brady.
You talk to me about it.
I got the blues. Listen, I wore this sweatshirt on purpose today because it is a sad day and a bad day for me.
It is.
All of my football teams in the tanker this week.
So my next question, of course, is how much money did you lose? That's what I just got to come after you with.
That's part of the reason why I feel so blue. I'm going to need you to be the optimism on this today. I put down $10 on a parlay for Sunday to win 120. Not that big of a bet, right? But I'm unemployed right now, so
so that becomes a little more substantial.
Gas and
at that
groceries
point.
for a week. So that was the parlay. What was the parlay? It was anytime touchdown, Travis Kelce. Thanks, Travis, because I did get that one.
Got one, yeah.
Anytime touchdown, Romeo Dobbs.
Oh.
And
Jaden Reed, got 2 in this one or whatever? Yeah.
I think I had the points, the over in. No, I should have done that. I took the spread on the Jets. I think it was like plus 10.5 or something.
I don't remember how.
And that did not.
Yeah,
I mean,
it didn't
if
go well. Yeah.
that was gonna bust it anyways.
So it's been a rough week in all kinds of ways.
Yeah. Well. UT football's not back, by the way.
Oh, no.
I wasted my Saturday
neither is
night.
Badger football, so yeah, it's been rough.
Yeah, and
so
then,
you got back-to-back. You got Saturday, you got Sunday. Of course, we lost, but we did get to watch the Eagles take down the Vikings, so we're feeling pretty good about that. So
yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that game here in a little bit.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a lift on a Monday at least. But yeah, I mean, we've got the one thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit just because it seems like more of a headline this year than in past years, and that's big players going down to big injuries. You saw Aaron Rodgers, and I just want to throw out, a heartfelt get well soon to Nick Chubb. This one sounded bad. What did you think? Did you saw it, right?
I saw it.
I don't look. This is me.
Yeah.
See no evil.
Well, as soon as Joe Buck said that it was too gruesome to show on replay, everybody took to Twitter to find it,
and it was there.
It was there. I mean, yeah, it was. Not pretty.
It's as bad as it sounded.
Yeah, it's as bad as it sounded.
Yeah, for me, you hate to see this, and when you get these multiple ligament injuries, which if it's multiple ligament, then there's going to be meniscus damage too. I can guarantee it. I'd put money down. And those are the type that really can be like career-threatening type injuries at that point. An ACL alone can come about. Mine was violent, but we saw Jordy Nelson. He just kind of makes an awkward fall, gets up, walks back to the huddle. You see people walk off the field on an ACL all the time because as long as you're in line, your body's going to work okay. And yes, the surgery and getting back, we've seen with David Bakhtiari. Again, we'll talk about him this week. It can be difficult. There can be setbacks. And you may not be 100%, but it's when you get these multiple ligament injuries and all of the surrounding tissue damage that happens with it, that it just makes me, you just have to start questioning whether you can do it and then sometimes whether you should at that point too. So again, I don't want to dwell on that too much because it's already been a bad week for you in other ways, but just all the best to him. He's going to have, great surgeons and all that, but it's going to be a long road back. So I hope he does get back.
Yeah, same.
All right. So what do you think about those Steelers out there? They pulled off a win.
With an asterisk. This is apparently going to be the term now, is everything's got an asterisk on it. Yeah. Every week we're going to have a game with an asterisk on it.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
That was the game. I don't care that they got to win. I don't care because the only reason they got to win is because Highsmith and Watt refused to lose. They refused to lose.
We should have traded Aaron Rodgers for TJ.
Well,
So he could play like 4 snaps.
Well, listen, congratulations, TJ Watt. He has become Steelers all-time when it comes to sacks. He flew past James Harrison on Monday
night.
Which
is a big name, too.
Yeah, a huge name. He's had the most sacks of anybody on the Steelers in history, which is fantastic. He's a phenomenal player. How long can they have him carry them on his back?
Yeah, without bringing along a quarterback. I mean, yeah.
It shows a lot about him as a competitor and what he doesn't want to lose. It doesn't matter. I'm sure he's frustrated. I would be frustrated too, having an offensive line that looks like paper dolls. I mean, they just looked awful.
Yeah, and a lot like the Jets in some ways, and the Jets' offensive line, but the Watts are, of course, royalty in Wisconsin.
Right.
And that is what you would expect from a family like that has several kids that are all playing at the highest level, and he's as good as it gets out there. But yeah, I mean, is there a point at which, because JJ did end up moving on from the Texans, is there a point at which, you just say that the organization isn't doing enough? It's not easy, but yeah, I would expect him to fight, and he did. Didn't they have two? Didn't he come out with that first one? And now it wasn't him.
And his first touchdown.
Yeah, that's right. I did catch that.
His first defensive touchdown. So congrats to TJ. Well earned, well deserved, fantastic player. But another question is, how long is Pickett going to want to be there? Because you look around at this league right now, you look at the Packers, you look at how they are letting their rookies play. They're giving them opportunities to grow, and Pickett is not given opportunities to grow. He looked okay passing. It got to the point in like the third quarter where the run game was at 0%, and Pickett's percentage, his completions were not great, but they were better than 0%. So let him try to throw the ball. He had some deep throws to Pickens, and they were successful. And if I were him,
given time, he can connect. I mean, that's what
his rookie season last year. I get it. I get not opening the playbook for him, but this is a new year for him.
Second year, you should have taken that leap. You grow the most between the first and the second year, even after
yeah. And if they're not going to work on his passing, he's never going to get better.
And how do you work on it when you have no time out there too?
Exactly.
You see, I mean, to bring it back around too, I mean, that's a lot of what you see with Justin Fields. I mean, and now, that's a bipolar organization right now. You're either saying just let Justin run,
right,
or let's make Justin a quarterback in ways that I'm not sure he can be, decision-making accuracy downfield and stuff like that.
Right. So let's transition to the Bears then.
And also he's not protected either.
Right.
Green Bay has worked on their pass rush quite a bit. You got 8 first-round draft choices on that defense. But they've also worked on their offensive line. Like you were mentioning, 3 offensive line picks a year for 3 years in a row, just because you got to bring up this new guy. And teams like the Steelers, the Bears have been making trades trying to get that guy down, which, again, I asked you whether the Bears were the new Browns or Lions out there.
They're imploding right now.
Yeah, it's going to be tank talk real soon.
Can I revise this? Let's just show the board here. I would like to change my pick here. Oh, it's not even in there. How did it get erased?
It just got bumped. Yeah, it just got bumped.
Sure, it did.
No, you sabotaged.
I would like for this to be a check mark in our favor, because
I'm feeling good about it.
I just think the Bears are a terrible organization, and there's been some crazy stuff going on with them in the last couple of days, and I just don't see them beating us in Week 18. I don't know if
I know you saw. I don't know if you guys out there listening and watching saw the Justin Fields press conference, which was basically. To me, the minute I saw it, I just thought of William Wallace in Braveheart, just shouting freedom in light of the fact that he knows he's dead at this point. Like, he's basically, in my mind, he's auditioning for other teams, and that to me is part of the statement. To me, is just a dig on Luke Getsy. I know he said other things in other times, so it's spur of the moment, these press conferences, and they can get kind of chippy, I think is the word we were using, but that's for the Packers, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, Justin Fields, it looks like this could be a real rough ride. And what do the Bears pivot to at this point? I mean, it sounds, we do trade talk, on.
They released Peterman yesterday.
Okay.
And then they re-signed him today to a 1-year contract.
Okay. So, yeah, organizational future once more in doubt. I think we can say that at this point. So, Packers. Now, well, let's talk about the North first, because one of the things that did go right for me, for you to some extent, is the Vikings and Lions went down. Vikings go down 28-34 to the Eagles, no less, who didn't really play that great. It did not look super dominant or anything like that. And then the Lions lose to the Seahawks, who look, I mean, Geno Smith looks pretty decent out there.
Yeah, he does.
He has time to throw the ball, which
Yes.
is probably a start. But so, that opens the door. You have the Bears are struggling. The Lions fans now, they have turned a corner really quick because they've just seen it for so long. And then they believed, similar to me to the Bears for the last, but, at least the Bears have some history to look back to where they were dominant. But it really just sheds light on an opportunity for a Green Bay Packers team that is not perfect. We've got injuries that we're going to talk about. Maybe that's what we should move to next. But first, let's talk about the game against the Falcons, because this was traveling outside of the division. Yes, Chicago's an away game, but you're a hop, skip, and a jump from there. Had to acclimate to that. Wake up in the morning, no David Bakhtiari. Not lose Elton Jenkins early, lose Lucas Van Ness, and oh, by the way, neither Aaron Jones or Christian Watson are going to play. Did your outlook change? Because I'm going to pick up the board too for just a second here
and show what I had predicted.
Yeah, because Brady, as much as he hates it,
I know.
I saw a potential trap game, and I thought maybe we'd have our first week stumble in week 2 because it was against Atlanta, and I thought they were a better team than the Bears.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I mean, if we had woken up to David Bakhtiari playing and we got one of Christian Watson or Aaron Jones back, I'd have felt way better about your pick than mine.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, ends up being a 2-point game. I don't really think it had to do anything to do with any setbacks or anything like that. They just didn't do enough at the end. But thoughts on that game? And then we'll get into Chef's Kiss for today.
Look, I've been very pessimistic about this game. You look at my notes and they're just all just bad. It's just bad. But to be honest, it was only one quarter. I mean, yeah, they blew a 12-point lead in a quarter, but the defense was not up to par, in my opinion.
Now, did it look to you, because I'm watching them in the fourth quarter, and, we talked about it. We talked about Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier are just brutal. And it's difficult to win games that way just by leaning on the run game in the NFL. But by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, I felt like the Packers were hands on hips about at the end of their ropes. And had this one had to go to overtime, I don't know that we were ready to do that. Is that kind of how you felt about that, or just felt it wasn't execution, or what?
Look, you and I saw their weapons last week before they even played. So, of course, they knew what they were up against. They had plenty of time to prepare for it. And we knew that Robinson was going to break some tackles, but they just...
Not that he was going to break ankles.
Right. They looked slow to me out there. They looked like the effort to tackle was just not there. They just weren't out there being aggressive like they were the week before with the Bears.
The biggest surprise to me is that they looked like they were surprised. Like they honestly looked like they didn't realize. And I watched the tape a little bit. There's that big, and Atlanta has that overhead camera showing like Robinson just breaking ankles left and right. And the one thing I did see in that I will give that I thought was correct was we were playing outside in. We were trying to push him to help rather than let him in or get around the outside. But again, at some point, somebody's got to make a tackle. And again, the biggest surprise to me is it looked like we were surprised. And everybody knew it. It's not the first time we've been that way. So you were pretty dang good against Justin Fields the week before with 59 yards. But against a two-headed monster, we're specifically built to take care of the pass because that's where the explosive plays come in. And it's so hard for teams to field a team that can be that brutal in the run game that they can just basically break your ankles and get you sweaty and eke out a win. But at the same time, it goes to the Packers team because, granted, we didn't have Aaron Jones in this game, but if you've got an Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon combination, shouldn't you be able to kind of do some of the same stuff? And I just, we've got an electrifying Aaron Jones, but other than that, you saw, every running back on that team knew that they were going to need to, at least one of these guys going to need to be the guy. I don't think we have it right now.
I agree. Well, because Jones and Dillon are such a 1-2 punch. Mm-hmm. They're so different that they complement each other. And we had talked about this maybe a week or two ago, that Dillon just doesn't have the speed.
Yeah, I mean, he's fast for his weight, so he's a 4.5 guy. But yeah, to me, you've got to find ways to get Dillon into the second level before he can use that speed. Because, Robinson is a 4.6 guy, but I mean, at 250 pounds, AJ's a 4.5 guy. That's plenty fast. Robinson, he breaks the ankles of anybody up front. You can't get your hands on him, so he has better opportunity to get up to speed. His vision is better, and he's using his body so well. Of course, he's way different than AJ in terms of just short area quickness. Yeah. I just would expect more. I mean, because I would trade, like I'd take a Bijan Robinson and an Aaron Jones, and that to me, that's a push for me. Mm-hmm. You could talk the nuances of that, of course, but then why is Tyler Algier better north and south than A.J. Dillon, he's fantastically gifted physically? It's kind of baffling to me.
That's been a big question across Packer Nation this week. I mean, a lot of people have been asking the question about Dillon and what's going on with him and what's different and why can he not seem to step up into this role that we so desperately need him in, because you got to take the pressure off of your rookies.
There you go.
I mean,
and it just doesn't seem like, I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row, and this was the week where, he knew that Jonesy, he didn't know Jonesy was going to get hurt during week 1 against the Chicago Bears. It just happened, and he went out there and played.
Yeah.
But they could game plan for him this. And look at the first play from scrimmage, which I will be talking about in a little bit. A flea flicker. So your tailback takes the handoff, and you suck in the defense who, this is first play of the game, so your box is going to be stacked. You're generally going to have single high safety. You're going to have your other safety down in the box. Pitches it back to Jordan Love, who made a beautiful throw. That throw was gorgeous, and forced the DB to tackle just to save the touchdown. But what does that say about A.J. Dillon? I think I'm confused about it in some ways, because does it say that the Packers don't believe in A.J. Dillon, or does it say that the Packers believe the Falcons believe in A.J. Dillon? It was a great play call. Again, I'm going to talk about it in a very positive light later. I thought it was quite brilliant, honestly. Makes a lot of football sense, but it also makes me question, whether the Packers really believe that A.J. Dillon going straight north and south on the kind of plays that you would expect him. It's 1st and 10. You're expecting him to try to get you into 1st and 6 or 2nd and 6 at that point, something like that. Yeah. 2nd and 7 down to 2nd and 5.
He just couldn't get past that line of scrimmage. It was tough.
Yeah, and the Atlanta Falcons defensive line has got a lot more sort of brand name guys on there that have been doing it for a long time, and I think are still doing it at a really high level. But then you start talking about New Orleans Saints, it's not going to get any easier. So kind of like we said last week, it wasn't going to get any easier after the Bears. But
yeah.
So any final thoughts before we do? We do want to do a chef's kiss on this game, though, because there was plenty good to talk about.
Sure.
I think this one might have a little twist to it.
Do you want to do yours first, or you want me to?
Go for it.
My chef's kiss is Jordan Love's. Well, how do we say it? His stumble?
Gaff. Yeah, I don't know. His gaffed.
Everybody knows it.
The sneak that wasn't.
4th and 1, 4th quarter. I don't know the time on it, but we are 4th and 1, and he just falls over like he's drunk.
Stumbles off, goes to one knee.
It leads to a 4th and 6 and forced punt.
So yeah, these are the things that.
How much did we need that one?
Pretty
that 4th
bad
and 1. We needed that first down at that point.
Yeah, the Packers definitely needed that play. Didn't get it done. Again, it was a failure on both the offense and the defense. But my chef's kiss, we're both going like a little far afield on chef's kiss this week, because mine goes to Matt LeFleur.
Okay.
There were times, the one thing I was a little disappointed is is that you kind of did want to see Jordan Love be able to pull one out of the hat at the end of that game, but he's a young quarterback. This is going to take some time potentially. But through much of this game, I loved the flea flicker. As much as it does make me kind of wonder about A.J. Dillon. I wish him all the best. I think he's fantastic in all kinds of ways. I just want to see him perform better. But I loved that so much. Give Jordan Love a chance. This was very similar to the go route to Christian Watson that they gave Aaron Rodgers against the Vikings week 1 last year. This with a little trickeration, shall we say. But I love that. Okay, and one more that I loved is it's 3rd and 1. And again, goes to A.J. Dillon to some extent. It's 3rd and 1. This is a rushing down. They set up for the rush. They bring Musgrave in line. Bring him up tight to the formation. This has got run written all over it. Musgrave comes up, makes a check, and then just pitches out into the flat, and they naked boot. So Jordan Love, by himself, just using his athleticism, rolls around the corner, and Musgrave is wide open. In the NFL, if you're wide open, that almost always just screams out that you've been schemed open, that the coach got the other coach, and that was such a get by him. Now teams are going to have to deal with that on the plate. And I thought Matt LeFleur, generally speaking, called a really good game. So I'm giving him my chef's kiss, just like that. And I think he deserves one at some point because his name is LeFleur.
LeFleur.
Yeah. Now, you, on the other hand, I think you need to make a comment on that now because...
He's on the hot seat.
He's on the hot seat because of the Chippy press conference situation.
What's going on?
It's getting rough.
It's week 3. We're walking into week 3, and LeFleur is already, up to here with the press.
Yep.
What's happening?
Everybody's chirping. You got David Bakhtiari chirping back at the media. You got LeFleur chirping. And, I mean, he twice this week.
Yeah.
Just was shut down the David Bakhtiari talk, which that one I can understand. I'm tired of that too. But then what was the other situation? Because you just showed it to me.
Yeah, just this afternoon, the second question asked. The second question asked when he was talking to the media was there a reason he decided to change it from seasonal captains to game captains? And he just said...
Can I stop you for just let me ask you, does that not sound like an innocuous question? Is there some subtext that I'm not reading?
I don't know. I
didn't know either.
Obviously he read it as that because he said, quite frankly, if I wanted you to know that, I would give you that information. Oh my gosh.
And it was almost whiny.
Chill out, dude.
And LeFleur he's always got the coach speak going. He's got the fluid situation stuff going. That you kind of expect. A lot of the coach speak. You have to do that. You're trying to cover. But to me, that one was what, did somebody not put enough mustard on your hot dog? Or something had to have gone wrong. Did you get called into the principal's office or something?
I'm just sitting back enjoying it because it's a back and forth. I mean, yes, the media's on the hot seat this week too because they apparently, some of them ran with the story that Bakhtiari didn't play last week because it was turf and not grass. And good for him stepping in and saying, look, I think his brother ran with that.
Yeah, kind of turned it over to the world.
Yeah, kind of turned it over, kind of started that rumor, that gossip, and then...
And it's parallel with thinking, because we are asking that question to some extent,
sure.
And then it just verifies in a wrong way. But
yeah, I like that he held the media's feet to the fire, because it's true that if you are a journalist and you're in the media and you put something like that out there without checking your sources and then it turns out to be false, you should probably correct that.
Yep.
That's exactly what he said. So
verify them and have to, number one, which not many people, which we don't have to do, by the way.
No.
And probably won't. So
this is a hot take
it's
podcast.
Hot take. Okay? But I will say, again, I don't know what's going on with his knee. I had the quote up, but his long form quote was a little scary to me, because I've said all along, those knees will swell. ACLs in particular will swell. You'll get a burning sensation. It's a mild burning sensation. But for a guy who does what he does, that matters a great deal. I'm going to sit in an office chair. That's not such a big a deal. But he's had 3 surgeries. So again, it's closer to, I don't know how to say this again without being, because I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing the MRIs in this, but it sounds closer to once you have multiple surgeries where you're either trying to correct something. I mean, why are you going in? Did you miss it in the first place and you got to just clean up some meniscus? That might be relatively low. That might be relatively minor.
Yeah.
But if you have to correct something that just plain went wrong, that could be a problem that lingers. And we're seeing there's something lingering here. So all that for me to say is, again, David Bakhtiari is fantastic. He is a hard worker. I saw people call him lazy. I don't buy any of that bullshit. I just don't.
Yeah.
Now, is there a problem, though? I think there is. And you saw how valuable he was. We had a false start that you mentioned right out of the gate.
Sure.
And we're going to be playing tougher defensive. This Saints team, it's going to be very important to have David Bakhtiari if he can play. So
Yeah.
I hope he can, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so turning it over to, let's do a bold prediction while we're on hot takes and bold predictions.
Okay.
I have to think of one, so you have to go first.
My bold prediction is that Jenkins, Watson.
Well, Jenkins, we know, I'm pretty confident, is not.
No, this is my bold take.
All right,
It's not
that's
your bold
yours.
take.
All right.
My bold take.
Oh, my word, if you're right, I'm going to be so happy.
Everybody on the list is going to play this
Now,
week.
that is bold. Yep, I should not have stepped in, though. I should have just opened the door because that would
Jones
be
is playing. Watson's playing. Jenkins playing. Bakhtiari's playing. Who else is on the list?
well, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the whole offense. Well, Van Ness, we think, is playing.
Ness
Is he
is
playing?
playing.
All right.
Everybody's playing.
So you can wear a white sweatshirt then that said, "It's a good day. It's a really good day."
I have to make that one.
Yeah.
I'm a pessimist by nature. You
Oh,
won't catch.
no.
I might wear my football girl one next week.
Ooh. It's going to become a topic of interest. Mm-hmm. But this week, not so good.
Well,
With the black pullover.
I'm putting it out in the universe now that this is the only week I have to wear this.
Okay. Well,
But I figured since all of my football teams lost this week, it was a bad week.
You just made a bold prediction. And on all of my shows, if you get those right, you come back and you blow it up. That's what you do. Okay? So we will keep
What's your bold prediction?
I am going to say Lucas Van Ness is back and has 2 sacks in this game. Rashawn Gary has been a monster on a pitch count. I think that they're going to give him some more snaps. And I saw, Kenny Clark be a little more active, but I think that Van Ness is going to find some singled up situations and take advantage of them. So, and he was talking about that, taking advantage of his situations. He said, it hasn't been perfect. There's a lot of stuff that I need to still do. If you watch him on tape, a lot of these guys, their first year, what they say is they don't have a plan necessarily. They're not setting up the rush that they use this time and this time again for what they want to fake to do the next time and do this instead. And I don't think he's quite there yet, but I think he's getting there, and I think this game could potentially be a step forward. Part of that has to do with, I think, the Saints' offensive. Their run game isn't as good. We just played the Atlanta Falcons, so I guess that kind of goes without saying that their run game isn't as good. But
Yeah. Is Taysom Hill running for them?
yes, he is.
What's up with that?
All right, so the story, he was a Packer.
Okay, yeah.
Started out, we tried to hide him on waivers because we'll take a minute to put him into perspective because he's not that good of a quarterback, but he's 6'2", 230 pounds, and he ran a 4.46 40, which is 0.02 slower than Justin Fields. 0.02. So it's like just minuscule. It's very fast. Saints picked him up. Sean Payton kept him for years. He's the Swiss Army knife, and he's their leading rusher at the tight end position, which is what his position is, tight end / quarterback.
Yeah.
And they are going to use him, and I've got to wonder if he now starts to come into the game plan.
Yeah.
After the Packers gave up that many yards on the ground. If he has a day, I'm going to be so pissed. Because, you see him throw downfield, and it's just not, he doesn't have a great arm, he doesn't spin the ball well, and he's not very accurate. He's just not that good of a quarterback.
Yeah.
But, he also has the whole quarterback mindset, so he understands what's going on.
Yeah.
And if we get singled up on the outside and he has a chance to take off and gets to the second level, I'm just going to be so mad.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so mad.
Should the Bears do that with Justin Fields?
I would think
Should they draft a quarterback next year? And
they might have to.
oh boy.
That's a whole different
Maybe they
conversation.
tanked their season this
I
year.
think the tank talk is coming. I don't think it's going to be long. Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, and that to me is what Justin Fields is kind of saying he's going to do here. It's like, listen, if it's not open, but my question for him is, when it is open, what are you going to do? But that's another team.
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. And we got him week 18, so we'll see what happens then. It might be playing for the number 1 draft pick again, back to back. Did I say that on this one? But I asked you if the Bears are the new Browns/Lions.
Mm-hmm.
With the high round draft choice every year, trying to find a quarterback.
Must be hard being Big Cat. Sorry, Big Cat. Must be hard.
It's hard for everybody in Chicago right now. But the Packers look relatively good, 1-1. But you want to win those home games in particular. This is not, because you go into this game 1-2. Now you got to play the Lions, who are favored by many in this division.
Right.
Puts them kind of up against a wall. You'd really love to get a little bit of momentum and taking one at home. Now you got back-to-back home games. Might be pretty important. Do you have thoughts on Packers versus Saints? Like, what do you think you're going to see in this one?
Honestly, I've got a lot of mixed feelings about it, especially after seeing what happened with the Falcons. I mean, I'm hoping that after what happened with that game, that they come out with a little bit more fire, a lot more fire.
It was way different than the Bears game, I think you mentioned. Like, in terms of just their attitude.
It was. And some people brought up, I heard this week, what could it be all the penalties that they got during the Bears game? Is that what kind of watered them down this week? And other people were saying no, But I do hope that it puts a little fire in their belly this week, knowing that they blew a 12-point lead and they had that game under wraps, and then they just found a way to lose it. So, because I do think having a veteran quarterback on the Saints is going to be something. I mean, you and I talked about Derek Carr being in a clean pocket.
Yeah.
We're going to need.
Although I think I called him David at the time. Did I?
Did you?
I think I may have.
Who knows?
I'm going back. I do that.
Sorry, Carr. But putting that pressure on him, I think we're going to have to really put that pressure on with our defense, and our defense is really going to have to step up this week and make those tackles and really clean it up compared to how they played with the Falcons.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of interesting to me just thinking back. I was concerned Justin Fields would have at least one touchdown on the ground against us. That didn't end up being the case. He had one this past week, though. And then who has a touchdown? Desmond Ridder has a touchdown on the ground against us in this game. It's part of what I love about football, though.
Sure.
You can go out, anybody can win at any time. And as much as we throw shade, this Packers team playing at home, there's a lot to play for. You're keeping your eye on the South because everybody in the North has to play. And we've been highlighting that. And I think you're absolutely right. If you get in Derek Carr's face, he's not that good. But we've seen what teams can do. Jared Goff playing with the Lions with a great offensive line, with the protection being there. Kirk Cousins playing with the Vikings when the protection is there. These guys have weapons. And I will say this, the Saints are 1-3 freaking good. You got Chris Olave, who he runs as good routes as anyone in the NFL, in my opinion. It is a thing of beauty. He is graceful. He is dangerous. And then, of course, you got Thomas, and then you got Shaheed. I can never remember. Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
Who's a legit 4.3 flat. Let's say it out loud, folks. 4.3 flat. That is blazing elite fast. And it's going to be a new challenge. Yeah, I didn't think Jair Alexander had a very good game this last week. So does he bounce back?
Right.
I hope so.
We had 2 missed interceptions, which really could have been.
That's the difference.
Yeah, the difference for us. Yeah, the wind didn't look like it was really in their sails last week. Mm-hmm. And what are we going to do different on the offense this week? Because,
well, we're going to have Aaron Jones back. We're going to have David Bakhtiari back. And we're going to have everybody back. It's going to be
nobody's
great.
Injured. Reed had a great game last week.
Mm-hmm.
Wicks had a good game. He got a touchdown too. Wish it could have been Dobbs so that I could have gotten a little bit further in my parlay, but some things don't get handed to you.
His name is Romeo. You're in for a ride.
Romeo.
So, yeah.
But the question is, what are we going to do different on our run game? Because if we don't have that, I mean, look at the Steelers from this last Monday. Like, they didn't have the run game at all, and you cannot get anything going, especially if you look at the Packers and they have such a young team. And hey, maybe our rookies are them, maybe they are just ready to take it on. I don't know. But if we don't have a run game at all and it's just passing, you become predictable.
Very predictable,
Which
is a huge problem when you got the Saints coming to town.
That's exactly what happened with the Steelers on Monday. They were absolutely predictable.
It's not like you're going out there to be 50-50, isn't really. You don't need that kind of balance, but you do need to be able to do both when you need to do both. And I'm not sure that we're able, without Aaron Jones, to do that right now. I didn't see much of anything to change my mind about that against the Falcons.
Do they lean more on Emmanuel Wilson?
Well, that's a big... And I thought Patrick Taylor ran better. Wilson I'd only seen in the preseason, so you always look at him late. He's playing against 3s and 4s. But he did look good. He looked better. Yeah. Taylor didn't look good at all.
Right.
So this is the biggest concern I have for the offense, and you're putting your finger on it, because what do you do when you've got one guy that's 250 pounds, runs 4.5, and then you got undrafted free agents, you got guys that are just barely making the team, and they're flip-flopping in terms of their ability to look good at all. And there's even a lot of talk, in terms of what is the offensive line doing for them. I think it is clear now to me, to some extent, and I don't give a pass to Dylan or anybody else, but this offensive line is clearly better at pass blocking and is built that way. But it goes right back to what you said. You still have to be able to run the ball. So what I think the Packers need to do is run out of the pass game. We've got to be able to be a little bit effective early with the pass game, enough to lighten that box up a little bit, and give whoever the heck wants to step through the door and be a good running back for a change when Aaron Jones is not on the field. Let him do it. I don't even care which one of them, because Emmanuel's a great story. Patrick Taylor doesn't get any press. Good for him if it's him. And A.J. Dillon. I love A.J. Dillon. I think he's cool as crap, and I like any guy that works on his quads the way this dude does. He's a beast. But yeah, it's going to be a challenge. And that's why, are you doing Vegas odds in this one? Do you need to look them up? Do you need me to do a prediction?
Or do you want to?
I've got a prediction.
What do you think?
All right, so I kicked against the Goats in week 1 about it being a low-scoring game and said, I think this may be a higher-scoring game than everybody thinks. And we were right about that time, 38-20.
Sure.
This game, I think, is a low-scoring game. This has got low-scoring game written all over it.
Yes.
The Saints are good at every level. They're going to challenge Jordan Love. In every way you can challenge him. The Packers are hamstrung, literally, on offense. However, just to that same conversation we're having about the Packers, the Saints they're not fielding a Bijan Robinson. They're not fielding an Algier behind him. So I'm assuming the Packers will get in Derek Carr's face. I predicted Van Ness with 2 sacks in this one. I think that's the difference. I would have the Packers probably let's say 21-17 in this one, something like that.
Okay. I'm calculating in my head.
Because you're looking for the line.
I know
this is the one that do you know what it is?
Yeah, as of 3:00 this afternoon, the line was 1.5. So Packers minus 1.5, Saints
what about
plus.
The point total?
Over under 42.5. I was thinking about taking the under on that, but
let's see. So the Saints, let me just throw this your way. I believe, and I think I'm correct on this, in 8 quarters of play, the Saints last week finally gave up their first touchdown. That defense gave up its first touchdown.
Okay.
So I think the Packers, this is going to be the biggest struggle to score that we've seen, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Which makes me a little nervous. But that would lean toward potentially that.
And under. I like the prop bets right now.
Okay.
Even though.
You're going to do it all over
again.
again.
I'm going to do it again.
Don't put the sweater away. Just make sure it's on a hanger.
I'm booking Dylan anytime touchdown.
Oh.
I'm sure the odds are really high, but I don't know.
Well, that's what makes it fun.
I know.
And the kid, to me, maybe the solution to the problem is finding creative ways to get him at the second level. Because I still think, he's so tough. But he's getting, you got 300-pound linemen. All they have to do is throw an arm out, and they're tripping him up and just find creative ways to get him through.
Yeah.
Even though I would love it if your bold prediction comes true, because I want to see Aaron Jones back so bad right now. I want to see David Bakhtiari back so bad right now.
Yeah.
But all right, well, it will be another interesting week. I didn't get a chance to check to see, but we have an Ask Us Anything program that we're running. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
We are putting out the word that you can ask us anything. Ask Erin something. She's brand new to this whole thing. Not brand new to podcasting, but brand new to Packer Nation. And I didn't get a chance to check recently, but all you have to do is go to namelesspackerspod@gmail.com. Throw in a potential name for the show. We are working on that as well.
Please.
And let us know. What do you want to hear? It can be, give us a hot take. It can be, what's your favorite food to grill when you're watching football? It can be favorite player on the Packers, anything like that.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, gosh. You threw that one at me fast.
I did. What's your tailgating food of choice?
I am probably a ribeye dude. So you're saying like the sky's the limit.
It's
like
game day, yeah. And what are you eating?
Yeah, ribeye, double fried fries.
Oh, crispy.
Yeah, nice and crispy. And then you throw them in the freezer the day before, and it kind of breaks the cells down, and then it's just freaking fantastic. You know me, I'm going to go way too far on that. Yeah.
Guy.
But I love cream corn, homemade cream corn.
Cream corn?
Oh, it's so
homemade cream corn.
It's so comfort foody and childish. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
I only like it out of a can.
Oh,
that's a good
got
stuff.
awful in a can.
It's cafeteria.
Oh my word, it is cafeteria. How about? All right, let's just do it.
I like a good glizzy. I'm a hot dog fan.
Okay, describe a glizzy to me then.
A glizzy.
Is that the where Pennsylvania hot dog? What?
I don't know. Where does glizzy come from? The term glizzy.
Because I've heard it, but I don't know exactly what it is.
It's just a slang term for hot dog, but I like mine with a little bit. I like them all different. Sometimes I like a chili dog with mustard.
Just had a few of those, with the weather getting cooler.
Or I could go for a little chow chow, a little spicy chow chow with some mustard. Or, if I never raw. Never raw dog for me, guys.
Okay, how about the ketchup question?
Ketchup and mustard sometimes.
Okay. All right.
With a little relish. It depends. I'm not discriminatory against my hot dogs.
No, I've had that conversation with people because there's the conversation about you cannot put this on that, and I'm like, well, okay, give me a culinary reason for it, and then it gets real quiet real fast. So I eat what I want, and apparently you do too, and that's just fine. I'm for freedom in food. All right,
especially on game day.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think we could call it a wrap. Anything else we need to talk about? Any closing statements?
We do Rookie of the Week.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and you had one already. Now I'm gonna okay, I want you to go first then because I'm concerned you're gonna steal mine twice in a row. Yeah, so I want to give you that opportunity.
Who was yours last?
Van Ness. You took Van Ness.
I know. I'm not taking Van Ness this week. I'm taking Jaden Reed this week.
Gosh.
I know you can't have. Did you have him last week?
If I didn't do the chef's kiss for LeFleur, that was the play. The tip pass was the play.
Fine. No. I'll choose Wicks. Look, they both rookies played great this week.
It's a tough week for them,
Yeah.
To be leaned on like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular play? Was it Wicks that had I'm trying to think of who it was that had the obvious pass interference in the end zone and just was right there, almost one-handed it? I really appreciated how, this group of wide receivers without Christian Watson and Aaron Jones being such a big part of the offense too performed in this game.
They really stepped up.
Yeah, but I liked the tip pass because it was not blocked well. Mm-hmm. Like it was not blocked that great, and just making the edge as not necessarily a speed burner, but just a football. I loved that play.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be mine.
Okay. Good.
All right.
This is my weekly reminder that Carlson is still my guy.
Oh my word.
I'm still riding high.
Oh my word.
On Anders Carlson.
Yeah,
Never.
No, I mean, so far so good on that one.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned it actually because I had that in my mind and didn't get it written down.
Okay.
So you weekly reminder, right on.
Reminder.
It's got to be there.
He's still him.
Okay, but same thing as the bold prediction. If he stinks it up, we got to give you know what for it.
I'm going to backpedal like Justin Fields, you guys.
Oh, my word. It's a 7-step drop by Erin. Yeah.
You took it out of context, is what I'm going to say. It was taken out of context, you guys. That's not at all what I meant.
Okay. Do you need to clarify then?
No.
Yeah. I have to say, as concerned as I was about the kicking game, and then who was it, that Aussie kicker for, maybe it was the Steelers. Who was it? And he comes out and boots one of the worst punts I've ever seen.
We saw some really good missed
PATs
last week.
Now, Wheeler,
really good ones.
Our punter, is on the injury list with a finger. So I don't know how
kick with his finger. Get some grit and get back on the field.
Just tape it to the next one. You're good.
Seriously.
Well, he's Irish, so he'll be on the field. I don't
Oh,
think
for
that's gonna
sure.
hurt.
Just give him a Guinness. He'll be fine.
Just give
He'll be fine.
Jordan Love gives him a Guinness. Yeah. He'll be fine. He'll be out
Two
there.
drunks on a field.
Wow, where has this team gone? I mean, it's entertaining for sure. So, but hopefully the
football.
Packers. Yeah, it's football. It's the fun stuff.
I love it.
Max McGee, long ago, who was one of the stalwart, like Vince Lombardi guys. Okay, so I'll just take a minute on this one because it's a fun story. I think you'll appreciate it. You'll see in the Super Bowl I, like flashback that they do, you'll see a guy like get thrown to and have to reach back and make a one-handed catch and score a touchdown on it. That was Max McGee. He was a second stringer, so he wasn't expecting to play in what was the Super Bowl at the time. He wasn't expecting to play. He went out and partied all night. And I think it's him that is famous for saying, I'll take a whiskey drink over a milk drinker any day.
Oh, my God.
And he got up the next morning hungover and ended up scoring a critical touchdown.
He's the OG Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, who actually did something with his football career. Yeah,
He walked so that Johnny could run.
Yeah, but that was funny. Yeah. So anyway, I thought you'd appreciate the milk drinker. Yeah.
I do. Here's to another week of football, you guys.
Heck yeah, we're going to get it done. Hopefully the Packers get another big win. We will be back with another big show, recapping everything that happened. In the meantime, you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk to you again soon. Go Pack.
Go Pack.